This is where the shadow work comes into play, because you start to notice you're getting triggered by different things, different topics, different subjects. Why are you getting triggered? Well, you got to analyze. There's memory, there's chitta at play, there's vrittis spinning. In English, there were experiences and there are emotional attachments and reactions to these experiences that continue to dominate our present state. They continue to guide our current actions. They continue to manipulate us like puppet strings. Not people, but our reactions and our attachments to the feeling that these reactions evoke. So when we do this self-analysis, you now have a very real option to start the process of cutting those strings or practicing non-attachment to these reactions. Because the reactions may still come, but you can learn to not have an emotional stimulus to them. And over time, that behavior becomes learned, repetitive, stronger, until these things can start happening now and they no longer run your life. Now, once you're at that state where you're able to practice non-attachment to this 5 sensory experience, now you can start looking in that direction of going back upward. Because as long as we react to things that happen outside of us, it's part of that downward spiral. No matter, like with what Ananya was saying earlier, no matter if it's happiness or sadness, it's still an emotional push and pull rhythm. You're still being pushed. You're not in the driver's seat anymore. In order to get to where we're trying to go, you got to be in the driver's seat.
And you notice that that's never learned within your own family. None of the authors of these books said their father taught them any fucking thing. They don't even mention their mother or fathers. They had to go to the ashram. And we know that, and I always forget his name because I mixed all their names up. The author of Dharana Darshan, he went into that thing when he was what? 4 years old. He never left. So this type of transformational or transformative tools doesn't come from our mothers or fathers.
No.
It gotta come. It comes from elsewhere, and you have to spend time away from your homeland or just your home. And I'm speaking in a broader sense. You have to spend time away from your apartment, from your house, from wherever you live, and you got to be able to go somewhere by yourself. Without being able to be by yourself, a lot of this stuff is unobtainable because you're going to always be bombarded by something outside of yourself, which is going to be communicating to your senses, whether it be mother, father, uncle, cousins, children, your job, your bosses, co-workers, blah, 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 whatever. You got to be able to go somewhere by yourself where there is nothing coming in into your being from another individual's mind state or opinions.
Right.
The only input should be nature, water, birds, wind, leaves, animals. That should be the only thing, because that's considered the lower state than man. They can't communicate with us through any type of verbal activity. We just experience them through their activity. So now they don't become one with us, we become one with them.
Yeah, that isolation is extremely necessary because that's how we learn the difference. You know, just like being in this 3-dimensional experience where consciousness and matter intermingled. So we don't know the difference between consciousness and matter. We think it's all the same thing. Likewise, that's reflected in being a part of society. We don't know who's who. You know, our boss is telling us what to do, our parents, our friends, loved ones, everyone's telling us what to do and what to be. We don't know who we are versus their opinions. So that isolation period is extremely important to establish those boundaries, at least to start the process. And once you go back into that world, now you've created a space to operate within. Now you've got your magical laboratory set up. You can't do any of this work until you got your temple, right? They say my body is my temple. Well, how do you know? Did you ever spend time in it yet?
And how many shells or veils of someone else's opinion about you are you covered up with throughout the years?